Okay, just gotta check the stream real quick while this is updating. Let me test the audio too. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Okay. Cool. Let's see. Oh yeah, that's damn football shit. I don't. Okay, whatever. Okay, that's better. That's more in-game stuff. That's cool. That's cool. Do I have enough money to collect this from specific archetypes? I did see the an update for this, and I guess maybe if it's so yeah. As the time of me doing this, I just this morning uploaded my spoilers episode talking about the Yu-Gi-Oh! The Chronicles preview that came out back in 2024. So if you didn't do that, you could just go ahead and check it out. Like that, it's a spoilers episode, but it's like for a 6-minute basically fancy advertisement that's on YouTube. So you could just you could click on the video, go into the description, and then the video is right there. And then once you're done watching the 5, 6, 7 minute video, you could just come back to it. So if you're listening to this and have not done so, you could just that is one episode of spoilers that you could just basically immediately check out and then listen to, and then where you go from there. Yeah. But I'm doing this to basically kind of follow up with that and to just actually put in a little more time talking about basically Yu-Gi-Oh! To even show y'all for me to be able to talk about different things, basically talk about what decks I play, check out the game. I only play this game every once in a while, to the point where almost every time I turn on this game, there's a new update almost every time. I'll have to go through that process again of downloading like a few hundred megabytes of data, and then the pop-ups like you saw there, and then day one of insert campaign here. It's almost every time I play this game. And part of that is that I do not I hate ranked into the low level. I've had multiple profiles, so I have had on different. I've had a profile on pretty much every console I've owned, and what I played on most was actually my Xbox account. So, but on PC I don't have that much played. I might have. I'm pretty sure I have a single-digit number of games played in ranked whatsoever. In fact, I might still be able to look at the replays if I don't even have a replay. I don't even have a replay. Have I played this game at all, even once on this version? I don't know. I feel like I have. I feel like I played at least one, a couple matches. But whatever. So what I would do first is, okay, I do have 500 points. I don't know if I'm you know what? Actually, yeah. Let's go into the shop first and let's see what's going on there. New shit. Ooh, okay. So what I was okay. So I immediately get to talk about something interesting. An actual good Dark Magician Girl card. Okay, so my perspective in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is I'm kind of somewhere in the middle in terms of understanding. I am not brand new to it, but I also am not nearly caught up with your average Yu-Gi-Oh! Dedicated YouTuber or streamer at all in terms of knowledge. But one thing that I do have is that that initial interest you might have where you want to play the game using a Dark Magician Girl card with the original card does not work. That card is not good. That original card is not good. So luckily Yu-Gi-Oh! Will make multiple cards for the same character. Now this is super recent, and I can't even remember if there was an actual other straight up like Dark Magician Girl card that came before this, and I'm kind of thinking there might not have been, as in like depicting the character directly as we know her. I think previous ones have been ones that have been kind of inspired and had like a similar concept, but they would look like essentially completely different. Like it's clearly not the same character. It's just the same idea done with a new character. Has traditionally been what the idea of Dark Magician Girl has been turned into for new cards. This is maybe even the first time, correct me if I'm wrong, that the original character from all the way back in the original is being depicted on not only a new card but a good card. So like let's read this real quick. So I'll just read it straight out and then I'll talk about a little bit about what it's doing. We got the same things going on. So I'll actually go to the bottom here. Gains 300 attack for each monster that mentions Shining Sarcophagus in the graveyards. So Shining Sarcophagus being these new, essentially remakes of the monsters that Yugi used in the final duel of the Ant-Man. I don't know if it's the same in the manga, but it might be the case. I think it is the case that was also the final duel of the manga. I won't spoil what exactly is happening. But basically, it's to just kind of do it. It's as the final duel is basically one final showcase of how much Yugi as a character has improved throughout the course of the story in terms of his skill. So like basically like proving that he can like proving that he is as strong as you feel he should be. That's the idea, and the Shining Sarcophagus cards, like in a similar fashion, are like 20 years too late, mind you, like giving you an excuse to play with Yugi's original cards in a way that is like appropriately like effective of utilizing all the like modern card design and everything they've learned over the decades designing this card game. So yeah, let me actually read it proper. So you can special summon this card from your hand by discarding one card, and if you do, this card's name becomes Dark Magician Girl. Great, because this is a really so first off, this is a really easy way to get this monster out because discard one card is like it's not nothing in terms of card cost, because in terms of card you're going -1 advantage. You might be putting yourself at disadvantage just in terms of pure resources by discarding one card. And if you're really good at deck building, you might have one card. You might not have a card in your deck that you're completely okay with discarding. So there is like a cost to it, but it's still like a super efficient way to just be able to get the monster on the field if you don't want to utilize that card as part of your current strategy. It takes a monster that was originally kind of annoying to put onto the field just because of the inherent like lack of foresight in like how it would feel to do those kind of feel to do it that way. Long story short, if you don't play Yu-Gi-Oh that much, so you see the things that look like Dragon Balls, the star with the orange the star with the orange sphere. That is a monster's level. Monsters that are level 5 or level 6, I believe, require one monster to be tributed from the field in order for you to play them. Which means it's funny because it seems like it's just trading one resource for another, but it is going down in resources in a way. So it was not a so basically level 5 or level 6 monsters had to have some reason for them to really be worth it, to justify them essentially being better than what you initially put down and used as the tribute fodder in order to be worth it. And Dark Magician Girl was an example of a monster that just did not make that cut. I'm going to sit here explaining this one card all day if I don't go through. But yeah, no, this is like way better. You can only special summon Dark Magician Girl, the Magician's Apprentice, once per turn this way. If this card is normal or special summon, you can add one Shining Sarcophagus from your deck to your hand. So yeah, like we said, the deck you play revolves around Shining Sarcophagus. Funnily enough, you could. One thing too is that you could technically play this without it being in a Shining Sarcophagus focused deck, because one, it's optional whether you add the card to your hand or not, and if you don't want the 300 attack bonus, then it's like whatever, because it's just like a little attack bonus. Like again, in the Shining Sarcophagus deck, of course that'd be beneficial. But if you just want to play Dark Magician that can fit her in some other strategy, I have no idea what that strategy would possibly be. Then you can do that, and you can only use this effect, the one above it, once per turn. All right, let me stop talking all the time about this card. I can't be sitting there going over every card and explaining the things. The card is like actually good, and you want to play with your. You want to actually use your cute girl card and not die because you're playing a horrible card. Yeah. I'm not for the. I'll just check this out real quick, see what's in there. Let's see, what is that? Orcus Magnite, blah 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 blah. I have not seen this. Disaster, Dragon Ruler. Okay, we got some familiar names here. Ancient Fairy, Life Dragon. Was that combination of? Okay. Okay, yeah, I don't really recognize much of any of these. These are like new to me. Most all of these cards. A new Kyberman card. That's cool too. Now that what Kyberman actually is a card that is good. That was good back in the day. Oh yeah, the tiny white and black dragon rollers. So that's interesting too. One thing with, I will say too, one thing with playing trading card games is, the thing that helps the easiest, like one of the things that helps a lot with understanding card games is the names of cards and the common words or terms used that appear in names of cards, because cards that use the same words or terms are related to each other and are usually intended to be used together. In fact, the way that effects that search for cards work in Yu-Gi-Oh! It usually is that you search for something with a specific term in its name. So, like, if I go, for example, this right here is an Orcust card, and it even says in the text, special summon one Orcust monster from your deck. This one says World Legacy. So World Legacy is a archetype. I talked a lot about in my video yesterday about archetypes, and yeah, this is how Yu-Gi-Oh! Organizes cards, is you have archetypes, and there's usually a word within the card text that denotes what archetype it's related to. Not always, and there are a lot of generic cards. And even if something is within an archetype, just depending on how it's played, it could still be a card that can be used with other strategies. Archetypes are a soft restriction, essentially. You can put like whatever you want into a deck together, technically. But if you actually want to have something competent, it's best to start around with an archetype and then build around that. Let's see, I got one free pull of this because it's new. We got the football stadium field. Should I just do the pull now? Why not? I guess. And then there's the Dragon Rulers right there. Which, by the way, are some super infamous cards because they were just way too strong at the time. Super infamous cards. Yeah, this is mostly just Dragon Ruler stuff. So, like, why not? Let's do a pull. Let's see what we get. I didn't look like much. I got 3 of the same card. And this is all just... I'm not gonna say it's trash because I ain't played with any of these cards, but like nothing that I want. And one thing I'm not to explain today is pendulums and how they work. If you come to me to play and then ask me, then I'll take the time to explain to you whatever I do understand about the game. And that's kind of even why I'm making these, just to like talk about Yu-Gi-Oh for a little bit. And yeah, like I said in the other video, if you want to come, like if you want to hit me up to play, you can just comment down below, or I plan on opening up like a Discord and for people to join. You can comment down below on the YouTube upload, or you can comment in the chat. Especially starting out, I am generally very open to such things. Now, as for playing on stream, that's a different matter, because you never know if you invite somebody like on a voice chat. No, when I say I'm willing to play with people, I mean as off stream recordings. I will play with you off stream, and I will record such things and maybe find a use out of that if it's like a good recording. I'll open these free packs. That's a cute design. Yeah, no, Yu-Gi-Oh is a good one for living up to the channel name. Like, seriously, just check out Yu-Gi-Oh, and if nothing else, and just look at some cards and see if anything appeals to you. That looks like freaking Hakos Bales. Yeah. Do I even need to explain about Yu-Gi-Oh art, especially if you watch the animation, that like animated thing? Like, do I even need to explain how incredible the art is? Generally, funny enough, there is a common complaint that they essentially don't credit the artists, which is one thing that Magic has over, because Magic will always have the artist down in the card art. 2 SSRs. 2 SSRs for the deck. Let me actually read what that says. Your opponent cannot target other spellcaster monsters you control with card effects. That's good. Quick effect. You can discard one spell, then target one face-up card your opponent controls. Destroy it. That's really good. That's really good and really generically useful. That's kind of crazy. I might have to look into that. I might have to try this. I might have to try this deck. I already got 2 SSRs for like, that's really, really good. It is a 7-star monster, so it being really good when it's out on the field might be a different matter if it's hard to get onto the field. You never, I guess you never know, but I could just also read the other cards and see how you're supposed to summon it. Then this has special summon 1 from the deck, so I guess never mind. Yeah, I'm gonna give this a try off stream. I'm gonna give it. I might look into this deck and see what it can do. Cause that seems like a very like powerful card. That's interesting. And then we're gonna pull from this other one. And I don't know how to evaluate this one. It could be good. It could not be good. That's an interesting art. That is a great art. Wow. Okay. Archetype here is Melodious. That's cool. Oh yeah, this is another one I should probably look at. See, man, this art. Now it sucks. It kind of sucks that like when you're not getting a full quality image, you're not getting a full high quality image. It's a little blurry. It kind of sucks that like if you zoom in, it's like that. Honestly, that might be rectifiable if I just change like this something in the settings. Like I guess if you play, I guess if you could play this game at 4K, then that might not be a thing. Maybe it still does just download shitty card art anyways. But Yu-Gi-Oh does have a problem with not having like HD official things online for every card, and so like if you look up a lot of cards on a search engine, they just yeah, that is a problem with the deck. If you do not play Yu-Gi-Oh and you try Master Duel, this I mean, this is also true for real Yu-Gi-Oh. It's both in Master Duel and in real Yu-Gi-Oh. Structured decks are the greatest new player resource ever. Well, not resource, but like the greatest way to get cards for a new player, just in general. Like obviously, in terms of resources, you need learning stuff, but in terms of getting some cards to start out with, structured decks are like indispensable at this point. I for several of my accounts would get the Dragon Maid structure deck and would basically play out that so I could summon good old House Dragon Maid. Let me see, and then let's pull up her related cards. Yeah, here's the cards of the archetype, and yes, if you can make the obvious comparison. The name is literally Dragon Maid, so you can make the obvious comparison with the anime. It is not directly related, but they are both the same concept, and I don't even know which one came first because they both came in the 2010s. So it's just a very funny thing. Thing of I guess if you like that anime, this is the deck you go for. But yeah, no, this monster. It's good, but not great. It gives you like one negate on the field, and it's pretty big, and it's not super hard to summon. But the Dragon Maid deck has always been a deck that's kind of like it's okay. I don't think I've ever seen it be like a top deck in my time, and part of that's because it's kind of straightforward. Also over here, where you can get the freaking okay. Let's not pull up number cards because there's too many. If you pull up related for number cards, it pulls up. There's like 100+ numbers, so it'll pull up literally like 200 cards. That's kind of annoying, but yeah. So this one gives you it gives you Utopia. It gives you double or nothing. It does not give you. There's another card. I'm pretty sure I have it on my account. I think I can show it. I think I can just show it. Yeah, and especially when you're starting your account, like this is not a started account. When you start your account, you get like 5,000 something, something of the in-game currency to spend on stuff. So it's pretty easy to just like get some stuff and get started. I will say that like before you start playing Master Duel, know what deck you want to play first so that you can just immediately build it. And from my experience, the game gives you enough resources that unless you're building a deck that has like 20+ URs in it or some crap like that, you can build a lot of what you might want. It's not a guarantee if what you want is like greedy in terms of the economy. But you can have a very, very good start if you come in with some knowledge of what you want and what cards you want and what kind of strategy you want to play. I still haven't even bought a bunch of these with these, so that's kind of how new this account is. I've only bought some of the discounted packs, which also give you a staple card. These are all like staples. These are all some of the most important cards in the game, honestly, to have. Especially Ash Blossom, Solemn Judgment. Yeah, Ash Blossom and Solemn Judgment are two of the most like important cards in the game to have that you may that you probably will end up putting in every deck. I'm not saying you should put them in every deck, but like they are played in most decks. I think Ash Blossom has like somewhere like an 80 to 90% use rate, which is absurd. But yeah, and I'll show off all these cards. Honestly, it would be better for me to show off these cards. Yeah, I don't got anything else to do in the shop. Let's go to the cards. Just real quick to the decks. You see the name of the channel. You see the name of the channel. Sky Striker. Trap Tricks. I want to build Labyrinth, but that might be a little intense on my resources. So, like, the thing, too, is that I realize is that a lot of these decks, certainly the ones that I want to play, are either very spell-focused or very trap-focused. And I kind of realize that those have always been the decks that I like playing the most in my experience of playing Yu-Gi-Oh! It's rather than decks that are just a gigantic pile of, like, 40 monsters, which you basically can do at this point in the game. I do like decks that either that give like you real incentive to use either. Well, in the case of Sky Striker, it gives you a real incentive to use spells, and then traps are a card type that is one of the inherently weakest card types by the way it works. So you will have trap decks essentially. You'll have archetypes that their whole purpose is to bring out the power of traps and make them like more efficient to use alongside them. Let me see. What do I have in terms of Labyrinth so far? I don't think I even have the boss monster fully. Yeah, I only have one copy of the boss monster. I'm not gonna read card effects anymore. It's gonna take too long. But just yeah, if you wanna. Let's see. Even with this, I only kind of just build these. I don't even know exactly how to build this deck. I need to look up an actual proper build before I start playing this. Paleozoic is another trap deck, and this one is interesting because these are trap cards that turn into monsters, and that's the gimmick of the deck. And then from there, you have some extra deck monsters you can make. Trap Tricks. They're like bug girl monsters, essentially. It's a very bug-focused archetype. I will say, as a person who's kind of an arachnophobe, these don't set off that in me that bad. Like, this is not great. Like, that is kind of detailed if you look really closely at it, but these don't set me off super bad. And I do appreciate that. I don't think I've ever seen yet another thing that I feel Yu-Gi-Oh! Personally has over Magic. I don't think I've ever seen a Yu-Gi-Oh! Card that has set off arachnophobia for me. Magic 100,000% has cards that are like that. Magic 100,000% has cards that if you have even slight arachnophobia will jump scare you. Now, luckily, they're bad. They're literally almost universally bad. There's a single digit number of good spider cards in Magic the Gathering. But they do exist. So even if you're just looking randomly through, like if you were looking through a random pile of cards, you very much could come across a spider jump scare. So just be warned of that if we ever. Because I'm gonna do content centered around Magic the Gathering stuff. It's just a lot hard to do that in a digital context because I hate Arena. I think Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel is so much better of an online way to play a card game compared to Magic Arena. That's not even funny. And it's the kind of thing where like maybe if you play Magic Arena and try it out today, it'll be fine and it fixed the problems that it had. But Magic Arena is, I'm going on a tangent here, and this is all I've been doing this whole time, but Magic the Gathering Arena is literally one of the worst game experiences I have ever had, because I tried to play it for 2 years and the economy, I fucking hated it so much. I fucking hated the economy of that game. I could not even come close to getting a quarter of the cards that I wanted through an entire experience of playing that game. And like I remember years ago planning this elaborate YouTube video and essentially doing the math on just how like not okay the economic, like in-game economy of that shit was. I fucking hated it, and I have not nearly had that problem with Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. Now, with Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, if you're trying to get URs, that's genuinely troubling. And I've said this before, I'm going to keep saying it a million times. I hate online ranked modes, and online ranked being the primary way to play this game is the reason I don't play this game that much. I can tolerate it once in a while. I will not ever grind it. Like, I can tolerate playing a few matches at a time. I will not ever grind this game. Or any other online ranked matter, unless I am just fully confident I could just like tear through it. Which, yeah. Again, I'm still learning Yu-Gi-Oh! Myself. Real quick, back to talking about the cards here. Part of the reason that, this card, Trap Tricks. If you intend to play any of the trap decks I mentioned or anything else that is like trap focused, this card is invaluable. Real quick, Shaw Sky Striker. Did I actually complete this one? Do I actually have like a complete playable here? Yeah, I do actually. Okay. Yeah, Sky Striker is pretty easy to construct. In fact, most of these URs up here aren't because like getting the card inherently is a UR. These are like special versions of the cards. And if you're a more experienced Yu-Gi-Oh player than me, you might be looking at this build and being like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" But I kind of just, like I said, I haven't played Yu-Gi-Oh that much truly in terms of experience, so I'm not that great at like feeling out which card, the ratio of what card needs to be and what cards need to go. And this is a new account too, so I built what I felt would be good enough essentially. And I still have to like adjust the ratios, especially because there's a few unacquired like higher rarity cards that I need more than one copy of that I don't have. To explain Sky Striker real quick, not to explain the deck, but just like the most important cards. Let me get in here. So this is a UR version of a card, Sky Striker Ace Ray. I talked about Sky Striker a little bit in the video yesterday, and also if you do watch the Chronicles series, Sky Striker is the first one featured, so it's very easy to. Let's see. Let me pull up instead related cards for this, so they'll pull up the original version. Yeah, the original version of the Sky Striker Ray is only a rare, so it's pain. So you can get that no problem. So you can get this Dex Core monster for nothing. So that's easy enough. Now, Sky Striker is a deck that wants you to play spell cards. They want you to play spell cards as much as possible. There are a bunch of Sky Striker spell cards that are useful, that work well with each other, that you want to play with and utilize. As things are, this one is mostly Sky Striker things, but like again, like a lot of generic spell cards, like your Monster Reborn, Reinforcement of the Army is definitely one you want in this deck because it's add one level 4 warrior. Sky Striker Ace is a warrior, so it's an easy way to grab that card if you don't already have a copy. It limited to one, but yeah. But Sky Striker is a deck that wants you to play spell cards because each Sky Striker card has an additional effect if you have 3 or more spell cards in your grave. And in the case of this one, your most important one, which is a UR regardless of which version you get, and as such will be the most expensive part of building this deck. But it is like almost essential. It is kind of essential to get into Gauge. But once you have your 3 copies, yeah, you play it and you get 2 cards out of it. And Yu-Gi-Oh is a game that like being able to draw 2 cards or get 2 cards at the same time is an extremely rare, extremely powerful effect compared to other games. It is very, very much. If you have a chance to draw 2 cards, I'm not gonna go into the specifics. There's plenty of YouTube videos you can watch about this, but I'm gonna show you exactly what I mean because this is another thing coming into Yu-Gi-Oh that you should know. Banned and will never be unbanned in the standard format of the game. It will never be unbanned in the standard format of the game. It is this card, Pot of Greed. You play the card, draw 2 cards. That's it. You play the card, it replaces itself, you get 1 additional card. That's all this card does. And as a result, you put 3 Pot of Greeds in a deck. And so you play that first Pot of Greed, you go 2 war cards deep. Right? Depending on the cards, you might be able to immediately utilize those cards. Now let's say let's say one of the 2 cards you drew is another Pot of Greed. Replace itself again. Go 2 more cards deep. Considering the factor of you starting with a 5-card hand and your deck at minimum, if you play at the minimum for efficiency being 40 cards, you can, if you have 3 Pot of Greeds in your deck, you can easily go like 10 cards deep into your deck after the first 5 and get through nearly half of your deck with nothing, let alone if you have any other effects to draw cards. Basically, Pot of Greed basically results in you can get through half your deck in your first turn. At its most efficient. Something you would not expect because this effect is not nearly as powerful in other games. In Magic, draw 2 cards. Draw 2 cards for 1 mana in Magic the Gathering, which is the smallest unit of that resource. Draw 2 cards for 1 mana is like solid. Is like okay. It's above average. It's good. It's like a 7 out of 10, but it's not game breaking. In this game, because it does not have a equivalent resource system, and cards are the resources and card effects are the resources you're working with, gain free resources is extremely powerful. This game is that crazy. This game is crazy. And this is maybe one of the reasons is if you don't know, you would never know until you actually try it yourself and you're like, wait, what? Why is this one action doing this much for me? So that will never be unbanned in the main thing. Now, funnily enough, I'm saying this a couple weeks after they announced a new side format, which has every card except for your Link monsters, these blue cards here, and Pendulum monsters, which were the newest card type before that. So the most 2 recent card types, due to their complexity and how are banned, and every single other card, including cards that were previously banned forever, are now playable again. So we are now in a situation where if you're playing that version of the game, that format, you can play 3 Pot of Greeds in your deck. The catch is that there's a list with cards that have point values, and the point values for the deck that you play have to add up to, like, it can only add up to, for a standard tournament, the point value can be different, but for a standard tournament can only add up to 100, and a single copy of Pot of Greed in that format on that list is 30. So in that case, you can play 3 Pot of Greeds, and you have 10 points left over to utilize for any other like options that are on that list to add to your deck. So it's playable, but essentially it's not compatible with cards that are also on that list that facilitate really strong strategies. And that's the kind of restriction you get. Now, I'm sure I'll be able to talk about this in the future that more cleanly lays it out. Again, there's videos that are dedicated to that topic. So, like, again, yeah, I'm kind of just talking, but anything that I've talked about today, my goal is if any of this gets you interested, I'm giving you things to look up. I'm giving you, like, terms to look up. And in the case of that format, I didn't mention its name, is Genesis, with a Y instead of was it E in the middle? Isn't it Geny? Right? Yeah, you can look it up. But yeah, point being. So to get back to talking about Sky Striker real quick. Also, this search function is great. So yeah, it's just get back to talking about Sky Striker real quick. Yeah, so this is the deck I've been playing so far as an alright first deck if you kind of understand what you're doing. It is very much a deck that is like a good improve your skill at the game deck, because it is a game where getting the most efficient is a deck where getting the most efficiency out of each of your cards and each of your plays is the intention of how you play this deck well. And it's essentially a deck that's kind of a control deck, so it's meant to be a deck that is for you to essentially stop your opponent from being able to do their most powerful plays, and then you get in just enough through things like this card here, which allows you to attack directly but only for 1500, for example. Or there's monsters you can go into, some of which are not in this current build of the deck. There's monsters you can go into aside from the Sky Striker main ones themselves that are much more heavy hitters that you could close out games with. On that note, one heavy hitter that I've used a lot is this right here, number 39, Double Utopia. In fact, I don't know why this is not in the deck as is, actually, now that I think about it. It is because I don't have double or nothing. I'll fix that. I'll do that properly later. So, with number 39 Utopia here, I'm not going to explain the combo. I'm actually not going to explain the combo. You want to see the combo, you can watch episode 2 of Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal. Because that's literally the first duel in that show. I did not realize. Literally, the character uses the combo to win the game, where you essentially use a combination of 2 cards. The Utopia I showed you earlier. Let's see if it. See again. I don't like how you do that. The Utopia I showed you earlier, and then double or nothing. It's double or nothing over here. Did I do that? No. But yeah, okay. The short of it is there's a combo that essentially gives you a 10,000 point monster, which if you punch over most things, you can just kill the other player in one shot. If you punch over anything that's even kind of small, you can just kill the player in one shot. So that is a good thing you can go into, and you can go into that by having two level fours on the field. So I was doing that before. Was there's actually another level four in Rose or Rose? I don't know how to pronounce it. Where if you have Ray on the field, you can put Rose on the field, and then you have two level fours. You can go into Utopia, and you can pull off. And you, if you, assuming you go through the combo without anything getting negated, you can put 10,000 damage on the field, like into your opponent's face. Oh man, okay. See, I'm sitting here explaining like damn near everything I know about Yu-Gi-Oh at this point. And so over here too, there's just a bunch of like staple cards. These are the ones that I've like kind of starting this account up, collecting. Like I said, I've hardly played any match, and I do already have a bunch of these staples. So that shows you how quick you can get some of them if you just know what you're looking for. So like some of them are deck specific. Some of them are deck specific, like the Evil Twin, Monster. I don't even know what I'm finna use like this fool for. This is another generically good card for playing with links. For playing with links, for going into links because it'll make the link indestructible. If you could tell already, so many of these characters have so much fan art. So many of these characters. If you take a look into Yu-Gi-Oh fan art, like the designers of these cards and these characters have given like the internet so much food. Like look at this girl, look at the Dark-Skinned girl right here. Like they've given the internet so much food with the Yu-Gi-Oh series. It's crazy. And like they're bleeding into that. Hey, it's a Japanese company. They know what works. This is a Japanese company. They know what works. And honestly, for the most part, it's pretty. For the most part, it's pretty PG. Like PG-13 to like pretty typically at worst. Like nothing official Nothing official really goes that crazy. If you ever see anything that crazy, it's because of some fan art, which any fan art for anything ever will go crazy if you go into the wrong place. So, but yeah, no. Like yeah, no, that's the thing too. Is if that kind of thing can guide you into essentially trying a game with those characters who you like the design of. Like that works. I am absolutely a person who will try a game because of good character designs. In this way. Let's see. Okay, is there anything else I want to talk about? Am I gonna play? Am I gonna bother to try to play? Because I'm not very good. Let's see. I'll real quick show you. I also keep a deck that's not like a deck, but just a thing on here just to keep track of what I want to craft. Like generic stuff that I want to craft. Runix here being another like more modern deck that a lot of people will at least give a try to. It's a very interesting deck. You see there's a lot of spells here with some different effects. I'm not really gonna go into it. Again, you just look up Runic and check it out. Funnily enough, one thing too that's funny is in the side format with the point system, this card is like technically unplayable. Uh, I believe. Let's see. If this card is special summoned from the extra deck, you can start with card. If the card you control will be destroyed by card effect, you can banish this card you control instead. If this card in the field is destroyed by battle and card effects, return this card to the extra deck. I think it's another monster that summons it, isn't it? I think it's yeah. This effect right here. It wasn't on the card itself. It was this effect. Special summon one runic monster from your extra deck to the extra monster zone. One other change in that format is that there is no extra monster zone. You so these cards functionally don't work because of a rule technicality, even though they're illegal. So that's another funny thing. They don't function as intended. Let's see, how much of this I built already? Not much at all. Not much at all. But I got a few of the boss monsters. That's all. All right. Yeah, I gotta get back to actually looking up deck things and figuring out what to do with this, so I can finish up my trap decks. I can finish up and actually play my trap decks. I got a playable Sky Striker, even if it's like inefficient. But none of my trap decks are playable. I want to play with my trap cards. One cool thing too is that okay, let's just I've kind of talked over it. I probably should have mentioned this way earlier. So again, let's say you follow that path. Let's say you follow the path of you watch the thing for yesterday's episode, and then you watched yesterday's episode, and now you are watching this, most likely the VOD that I put on YouTube. And so, an interesting thing, if you decide to check out Master Duel, is within the solo mode, I believe. Within the solo mode, there's something that's kind of unique. Right here, where you have the Sky Striker story. So am I gonna do this whole? Let's do it. Let's do it. A girl in a war-torn land has been entrusted with the power to wield an armory of weapons and tasked with serving as the last line of defense against a rival nation. A turning point in her story is at hand. So yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm not going to go through this because this is a free game. So I'm just going to show you that this exists, and this exists with some fully animated like cutscenes here. So my recommendation actually is, before you continue on with watching the Chronicles and watch those Sky Striker episodes, if you haven't already, unless you've already done so, I actually recommend you turn on Master Duel and you come over here first. So like no, it's you get a little. It's not a full story, even in this case, and honestly, neither is the anime version, which is kind of the main disappointing thing. But like, it's a good place to start. it's a good place to start and really get you invested by going through this whole little thing. So yeah, I'm not going to go through this here today. I just wanted to show you that animation because I saw that I was like, okay, just a fully animated thing in the game. That's crazy. I like a little story. Like check it out. Like it's like Yu-Gi-Oh really does have the potential for some compelling stories if they just fully commit. I mean, that's always been the case. The original story was interesting in its own way, but it wasn't depicting the stories that were depicted of what was depicted on the cards was the problem. As I talked about in yesterday's thing, it was the card game was an in-universe thing with its own world built on top of it that was more close to our world. It wasn't the fictional multiverse that exists within the lore of Yu-Gi-Oh cards. That's what's being portrayed here. That's the idea being sold by Yu-Gi-Oh! The Chronicles. So yeah, now is a good time to. There's plenty of with everything that I've talked about today, especially the introduction of a brand new format of a way to play the game that gives you the ability to play with old cards that have not been playable for a long time because they were banned. Now is a great time to check out Yu-Gi-Oh! And like I said, like personally, I very much am trying to offer the idea of just like offer myself as someone who can be a like community you could like to be a community like you can reach out to ease you into all this rather than just blindly going into the larger community that is the Yu-Gi-Oh community. Maybe it would be better to just find make some friends of a small time make friends of a small time YouTuber, especially if that's what you want to do too, right? And maybe if you want to eventually you'll move on once you have a greater understanding of everything that's happening. But yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to start making a small little community around the things that I like. And then hopefully I can help you out enough that you can go on and do whatever you want to do. Maybe even make your own community, right? All right, I done talked about enough. There's so much to talk about Yu-Gi-Oh when you get into specifics, but I guess that could be saved for actually playing the game or whenever some other topic of conversation that's more specific is worth dedicating to its own video or whatever. This to me was just a good way to follow up the video I made yesterday and essentially talk extra incentive of getting into Yu-Gi-Oh for anyone who's willing to listen to my stuff. I've been Zay. Y'all have a good one.